We're running an ad on this shirt right here. We've gone into our ad analytics and we're looking at the search terms that this shirt is popping up in front of customers for. One of those search terms is Christmas shirts. Do we leave that search term on or do we turn it off? Next, we jump into this ad and we see the search term nurse shirts. Leave it on or toggle it off. Hi guys, I'm Simply Shawna, and today we are going to be talking about running profitable ads during Q4. And if you're new, Q4 is the biggest time to make money on Etsy. It is October, November, and December, and you have the opportunity to make over again what you made January through September. We are going to be digging deep right now so you have a very good understanding of how to choose the ads that need to be monitored. And then once you have identified the ads that are really wasting your ad budget, I'm going to show you what I do when I'm going in and monitoring them. When you monitor your ads, you will be able to turn keywords off, search terms that your ad is popping up in front of people for. You can turn them off so Etsy will no longer charge you for clicks and show your ad version of that listing to customers. I'm going to link this video here down in the description and also at the end. It will give you a lot more information and hand-holding about the ads process and running ads and more examples of what we're going to be talking about today. For the focus of this video, I'm really going to be only focusing on how to identify an ad that is losing us money and one that we should monitor, and how to monitor it. Which just means turning search terms off that are not converting well for that listing. I'm going to show you exactly which terms I would leave on and which ones I would turn off. You're thinking right now, but Shawna, why would I turn any of the search terms off? I want my stuff to pop up in front of everybody. Yes, you do, with your organic version of that listing. But do you really want to pay for a click when someone put in the search term that they were looking for, let's say, a red pillow, and your blue pillow popped up in front of them? They were interested enough to take a peek, they clicked on it, and now you were charged for that click. But in the end, what is that customer really looking for? They're looking for the red pillow. So they're probably not going to purchase from you. We're going to get into a lot more examples than that, but just to give you an idea of why this would be a powerful strategy. Let's jump into my analytics and identify the ads that I need to monitor. When we pop into the ads here, you can see that it's filtered right now at the very top by the last 30 days. And I also have it toggled at the bottom to compare to previous periods, so I can see it compared to last year. We have a high right here where things were really getting out of control, and as I started to go in and take care of them, we see a downward trend on the graph there with spending. And that's actually a good thing. I had not been taking a look at my ads, and so they've been losing me money. You can see at the top there that I have spent $6,640, and my revenue is $20,237, which means I've probably made a profit before ad spend of $5,660, somewhere in that vicinity, which means I'm losing about $1,000 over the last 30 days on my ads. It's automatically set up to show you the last 30 days, but we're going to filter it. Decide how often you want to be looking in on your ads. So I really should be looking in on it daily, but I don't have time to do that. So I'm probably going to look in on it every 3 to 4 days. Maybe you're going to do that weekly, or maybe you're going to do that more often, depending on how much babysitting they need and how much money they're losing you. So I'm going to go ahead and filter it for the last 4 days. This is the data from the last 4 days. So I'm not showing the search terms that would be over to the left, but you could see the views, and on that first item, whatever the search term is over to the left, 5,873 people got to see my item pop in front of them when they put that search term in the search bar of Etsy. Now, out of that many people, that second item got 1,643 views. Again, that just means it popped up in their search along with everyone else's items. That first item got 160 clicks out of that 5,873 people that saw it. 160 people clicked on it. The click rate is 2.7%, and that's calculated between the ratio between the number of views to the number of clicks. You're only charged for when someone clicks on it. So I was charged for those 160 clicks, but not the views. I got one order. The revenue was $35.20, and the spend was $52.97. That means that I've spent $52.97 on ads for this listing over the last 4 days. Those 160 clicks cost me $52.97. Out of that $35.27 revenue, I probably only got about a little over $10 from that being profit. Now, if you look at the spend column again, you see I spent $52.97. So I'm out over the last 4 days, I'm out about $40 on this listing. My ROAS, my return on ad spend, is 0.66. ROAS gets my attention anytime it is under the number 3. So if it's under the number 3, I want to check in on that ad. ROAS stands for return on ad spend, and it's computed based on a ratio of your revenue compared to your ad spend. And what each seller wants to see this number be can change depending on the percentage that you get to keep of your revenue that becomes profit. So for myself, that gets to keep about a 28% margin of profit on my items. A ROAS of 3 works pretty well for me. So that's just something you'll want to consider if you are selling something that is at a different price point, or that you're getting to keep a different margin of profit based off that revenue for yourself. Every couple of days when I come in to check on this, the process is going to be pretty much the same. I'm going to filter it for the last couple of days, and then I'm going to order it by its ROAS. So here it's starting with the strongest ROAS first, and I'm going to take a peek and take a look at the ones that do not have a ROAS over 3. Here, this one has $140 revenue and only 49 cents spend, which gives me an awesome ROAS of 287. I'm probably going to have to go back a couple of pages, probably page 3 or 4 for me, to get to the ads that are not having a ROAS stronger than 3. So here we go. I've only got 2 of them over here. This one here is a 3.6 at the top. So it's probably just about breaking even or making a little bit of money, but these 2 would be losing me some money. Step 1 is to take a look at these 2 with the 1.97 ROAS and the 0.66 ROAS. I've just clicked into that first one with the 1.97 ROAS. And the first thing you're going to see, notice that you're filtered again for the last 30 days. And that's just going to be automatic when you open it up. But this is nice because now I'm getting the information over the last 30 days of a more full picture of how this item is performing. I've spent $84 and my revenue has been $569 on it. I usually get about 28% as my profit when I'm looking at my revenue. So when I multiply real quick, 569 by 28%, I find that I have made $159 profit on this item, which still gives me around $75 profit even after my ad spend, if you're looking at the last 30 days. I'm just mentioning this because sometimes if I'm making a good amount of money on this item, even though it's showing that I lost money over the last couple of days, sometimes I'll leave it be and just see what continues to happen. With this one, I am going to just pop in and see if there's any terrible terms in there that I should take out that are really not going to convert well. I will show you soon what it looks like when we go into the listing to fix them up. After I've cleaned that one up, I'll go back out and get to that one that had the 0.65 ROAS. I'll pop in there, I'll take a look at this graph, and I'll decide whether I want to go ahead and fix it up, which I probably will. I'm going to wind up with a whole bunch of listings that have a 0 ROAS, and you probably will too if you have a bunch of listings. I've got thousands of them. The ones with 0 ROAS, many of them won't be losing me any money because they won't have been put in front of anyone that has clicked on them. The majority of them will just be 0 ad spend and 0 ROAS. But there's going to be several handfuls of them in my case several pages of them, that are going to be losing me money. They will have 0 ROAS, so anyone that has clicked on them has not purchased, but people have clicked on them. So then you have to make a decision with those ads. First, before I can make the decision on what to do with those ads, I need to filter this differently, because right now it's all mixed up. It's going to be thousands of listings that are all mixed up at 0 ad spend, some of them losing me money, most of them are just not getting clicked on and not losing me money and not making me money either. But I need to filter differently now so I can pull all of the ads that have 0 ad spend and are losing me money to the top. This time we're going to filter by spend. So once you click on spend, it's going to, and remember this is just the results for the last 4 days because we have it filtered for just the last 4 days. This one that says 0.66, I've already addressed that when I filtered it the other way. But this one here has a 0 ROAS and I've spent $19.98 on ads with this one over the last 4 days. So that's all money I'm losing. Another one for $17.74. Again, over the last 4 days only, and 0 ROAS on all these. So these are all completely wasting my money. Now it's time to make a decision on this. I have a bunch there that I'm spending money on and are at 0 ROAS. So I need to make a decision on which ones I'm going to go into and fix, depending on how much time I want to spend on this. Now, if you don't have as many listings as I do, then you might not need to make this decision. You might be able to go into all of them. But for myself, I've decided that if it's losing me more than $10 over the last 4 days, I'm going to start with going into those. Maybe in 2 or 3 weeks, I'll decide if it's losing me $5 or $6. I'll bump it down because by then I'll get things balanced better. Things will be working better and monitored better. And it won't take me as much time to do that. But right now, I think I'm going to make the rule that if it's $10 or more, if that's how much it's wasting of my money, I'm going to go in there and I'm going to clean them up. So far, we know that we first have to identify which ads are losing us money and need to be monitored. Then we identified just how much money we were comfortable with losing to help us finish up and round out that process of choosing which ones we're going to monitor. We also know that we're going to be doing this consistently. So whether that means you're doing it every day or you're doing it every couple of days like I'm planning to do right now. Last year when my ads got turned around and I first started dabbling with the idea of ads, I went in there every day for about 30 minutes. So this just kind of depends on how much time you have and how backwards your ads are for you right now. Now it's time to jump in and actually show you what it looks like when we open that ad and exactly what am I looking for to fix my ads. But before we do, if you are finding value in this video and you want to see more tips about how to have a successful Q4 and grow a successful Etsy shop, don't forget to like this video and subscribe. I'll also leave linked for you down in the description a complete Q4 resource I put together if you are looking for more organization, more structure, and tons of ways that you can creatively and strategically hit Q4 in what you're choosing to list for, when you're choosing to list it, the products you're choosing to list. You'll even get some tips in that resource about how to build out your evergreen niches through giftable items that can sell really well through Christmas as stocking stuffers or just gifts, and even design aesthetics that are working really well. But right now it is time to clean up those ads, so let's jump in there. Take a look here at the screen. I have a little kind of thinking map put together here that will help organize what we're looking for when we go in to look at these t-shirts. So in this example, I've got 3 empty boxes, and we're going to fill those 3 empty boxes in with the concepts that we're looking to express or encompass in the search terms, and that is how we're going to figure out whether we want to turn them on or turn them off. Let's take a look at our Christmas nurse shirt. It says, "Be nice to the nurse, Santa is watching." We're going to take a look at a couple of different possible relevant keywords that are going to pop up in our ads, and we're going to decide whether we want to leave them on or off. I'll let you know what my thoughts are and whether I would turn them on or off. Let's be mindful that we're looking to express the idea of Christmas, the idea of nurse, and the idea of shirt in each of these keywords. We are working under the assumption here that we've clicked into this ad because it is losing us money. So that is why we're taking a look at these words. If it wasn't losing us money, I would leave them all on. But since we know this ad is losing us money, let's decide what we're going to do with each of these possibly relevant keywords. First up, Christmas nurse shirt. This one's a no-brainer. We're going to leave that one on. It hits all the markers here, right? Next up, Christmas nurse gifts. Should we toggle it on or off? I would toggle this one off because the word gift does not express the word shirt. Yes, the shirt could be a gift. And if this were a mug, I would leave it on. The reason I turn it off for my shirts is because in order to buy someone a shirt as a gift, you have to know their size. So it becomes just a little bit less likely. And I've just found that word does not convert as well on my shirts. So again, if it were something like a mug where you don't need to know the size, I would leave it on. If it were something like a shirt where you need to know the size, I'm going to go ahead and toggle that one off. Nurse Christmas. Should we leave that one on or should we toggle it off? I would toggle it off. Which thing is missing from the three things that we want to make sure we are including in these or expressing in each of our keyword phrases? We don't have any word there that expresses the idea of a shirt or a t-shirt. We have no idea what this customer is really looking for when they put Nurse Christmas in there. It's pretty general with no product idea. So that's fine and dandy, and I'd love to show up for them in an organic search, the organic version of this listing. By all means, let them click on that. But I don't want to pay for their click when they're that unsure of what product they're looking for. Next up is T Nurse Christmas. Leave it on or toggle it off. I am going to leave this one on. T expresses the idea of shirt. We've got nurse and Christmas there. Christmas Nurse SVG. I'm definitely toggling that off. If it says SVG or PNG, I'm toggling it off because that customer is looking to do it themselves. They are not looking to buy my shirt. And that is actually one of the biggest phrases that eats up my ads budget. 100% that is getting clicked off if it's for a shirt or a mug or a tote. I'm only leaving that on if it is actually an SVG file or PNG file that I'm selling. Now, this shirt isn't actually one of my shirts in my shop. It is just for the purpose of giving an example. And you might be wondering, well, why would any items be popping up as SVG or PNG as one of the phrases that Etsy is putting it in front of people for if that was not in your title or your tags? And that's a great question. So lucky for us, actually, Etsy is smart enough, the algorithm of Etsy is smart enough to kind of play around and put your items out in front of people that maybe didn't make the exact phrase, didn't type the exact phrase into the search engine. But it probably had a lot of the words that the person had searched, and maybe that person made it 4, 5, 6, 7, 15 pages back and didn't find what they wanted. So Etsy tried yours out since you had a lot of common words in your phrase. Someone clicked on it. So now Etsy goes, ooh, so this is probably a good phrase for this item as well. We'll try it in front of more people. The more times it gets clicked on, the more times that ad is going to keep showing it to people, which is why the SVG and the PNG one can come up. And it's why I have had it kicked around tons and sometimes makes my ads waste a lot of money. The other day I actually turned off an ad and it had cost me, I don't remember what I filtered it for, so I think it was more than a week that I had filtered it for, but it might have been the 30 days. I hope it was the 30 days. I'm going to go with that. It was $750 something was my ad spend, and the shirt had only made me $3 $300 revenue, which means I probably only made around $100 profit, which means that shirt lost me $600. And P&G and SVG, it was in tons of my search terms, just using up my ads budget. So that's definitely one that I always turn off. Next, we've got Doctor Office Christmas Decor. And we're going to go ahead and toggle that one off because the word decor does not express anything about a shirt. It sounds like they're looking for a very different product idea. And ones like this always seem to be the ones that are the hardest to make a decision on. Nurse shirts. Should we leave that one on or off? Now, this is really missing one of the concepts that we wanted to include, the idea of Christmas. But one might infer that if someone is looking up a nurse shirt in the month of October or November or early December, that they're looking for a holiday-themed nurse shirt. However, once again, we clicked into this ad because it's losing us money. And nurse shirts is pretty general. If this ad is losing me money, I'm going to go ahead and turn it off. The more money an ad is losing me, the more strict I become on making sure that all of the concepts that I want to see expressed in that keyword search term are all expressed. This example is just a generic nurse shirt, but this would change a little bit if it was a more niche down specific nurse shirt, which I do suggest doing if you're trying to get into the nurse niche. So let's say you're making a labor and delivery nurse shirt. If my ad wasn't losing me money or wasn't losing me a lot of money, I would leave something like Christmas nurse shirts on. But if it were losing me money, I'm either going to turn the ad off or clean it up. And I would clean something up like that by now not just wanting to see the word nurse, but wanting to see a word that described labor and delivery. And there's a couple of different key phrases that people use to find labor and delivery nurse items. And I would be restricting my search terms to actually encompass that more specific idea of that specific type of nurse. Let's take a look at something totally different. Let's look at this Christmas crew shirt. And what we really want to see expressed here is the idea of Christmas, the idea of group, because even though the mock-up is one shirt, it says the word crew. It's most likely going to be a group of people wearing this shirt. And then, of course, we want to see something that expresses the idea of a shirt. First up, family Christmas pajamas. What do you think? Should we leave that one on or should we toggle that one off? I would absolutely leave this one on. Even if I don't have the word pajamas in my SEO and my title and my tags from the listing, pajamas is a great word to pull up for and show up for Christmas. Quick side note on the word pajamas, you do not want to use that in your search engine optimization phrases, your SEO, your title, or your tags, if you have children's sizes or are using children's or kids, toddlers in your SEO, your title and your tags also. That is because there are a lot of rules surrounding what you're allowed to sell as pajamas to children. This is for safety issues and you can get your listing taken down. So you just want to be mindful of that. However, even if you didn't use the word pajamas in your listing, you still might show up for searches for pajamas. And if you have those kids items in your listing, don't turn that off. If you don't actually have it in your title or your tags, you're fine. Let yourself show up for that in an ad though. I have some listings that I show up for in Disney, like Disney is in the ad. I don't turn those off. I certainly don't have anything Disney themed on my t-shirts, and I certainly don't have Disney types of phrases in my title or my tags. But if I see myself showing up in ads for it and it's something that I'm like, oh yeah, I could totally see someone buying this to go to Disney World or to do this Disney themed activity in, and I think that I still have a good chance of being purchased from, then I'll leave that toggled on. Next possible keyword is matching family. Do we leave it on or toggle it off? We're going to go ahead and toggle that one off since it doesn't express Christmas or the idea of a shirt. It's missing two of our elements here. Family Christmas shirts, SVG, we know we're going to turn that one off. We established pretty quickly earlier that if it says SVG or PNG, that is not our kind of customer. That one's going off right away. It's my biggest money waster on my ads. Family pajama set. Should we leave that one on or toggle it off? I'm actually going to toggle this one off. Yes, it is missing the idea of Christmas. We could probably assume that during the holidays, they're probably looking for Christmas-related pajama sets for their family. But it also says pajama set, which is the bigger problem for me here. They are typing pajama set. They are really looking for the shirt and the pants that go with it. And if you're not selling both in that listing, then I would not leave that one toggled on. Family plaid Xmas t-shirt. So we've got Christmas with Xmas there. We've got the shirt expressed with t-shirt. We've got family, so we've got the idea of group there. But then they went and got more specific with the word plaid. There is nothing plaid about our design. And if this customer is specific enough to write the word plaid in their search terms when they're typing that in, then they probably really want to buy something that's plaid. I don't really want them clicking on my design because it, made them a little interested. In the end, they're probably going to buy something with a plaid element. So this would be great if this did have a plaid element in it. Sure, I would leave it and it would be so great. But for this design, it is not great. I would definitely toggle that off. Polar Express shirt. Now, hopefully you did not write this in your title or in your tags because this would be trademarked, and if you can't find a trademark for Polar Express, it would be copyrighted. It would be the intellectual property by Disney, who made that movie. But we could still wind up with that as one of our search terms if people are typing that in to the search bar and they clicked on this shirt. It would start popping up in those searches, even though that's not one of our tags. So if this had a polar bear on it or a train, I would leave it. But because it does not have any of the elements that would be likely to end in a sale for someone putting Polar Express shirt, I'm definitely going to toggle this one off. Last but not least, Christmas shirt. Do you think we should leave this one on or toggle it off? I am going to start by saying I would love to pop up as many times as possible for Christmas shirt. That is a well-searched term. But again, remember, this listing is losing us money. Christmas shirt is pretty generic, and we would really like customers to see this ad that are looking for a Christmas shirt specifically for a group. So if this ad is losing me money, it's going to get turned off, especially if this ad is losing me a lot of money. I'm going to want to turn that one off. If you have really general designs in your shop like this, and you're a newer shop, I wouldn't suggest even running ads on something like this, as this can really blow through your budget and you're unlikely to make great sales with it. Now, this is a bestseller, but this shop has something like 35,000 reviews and almost 150,000 sales. So they've paid their dues. They can get away with having bestsellers that are as generic as this. I don't expect to make sales in my shop with designs that are as generic as this. And if you have a lot of designs in your shop that are this generic, you're going to have a hard time cleaning up your terms to target the right customer. This is just too broad, too generic, and when you're competing with big shops, they're going to be the ones that are able to get these sales with all of that sales volume behind them. So I would suggest waiting until you're a big shop before you're trying to make big money on designs like this or trying to run ads on designs like this. While I wouldn't go in my shop and fill it with designs like what I just was showing you, Merry and Bright, what I would do is head right over to Creative Fabrica. If you're not familiar with Creative Fabrica, I do have a link to them down below in the description. And if you use that link, you'll get a couple of freebies when you sign up. But it is where I go to get all of my graphics for my t-shirts. I would go and find something similar to what I saw trending in bestsellers. There's a lot of designs like that on Creative Fabrica. And then with that Merry and Bright, I would add under it the type of nurse or a a teacher, third grade teacher, fourth grade teacher, labor and delivery nurse, or the name of the principal or a teacher name or the nurse's name. And you could bring this into a lot of other niches as well. If you are interested in building out the teacher niche, in addition to the Q4 resource that I put together a very similar resource in that it includes a lot of that same type of information that will really help you build out the teacher niche over the course of the year and really capitalize on the potential there is in the teacher niche through consistent listing over the year. I will also leave that linked down below. Now you might be wondering, when is the right time to actually start running ads? And we're going to talk about that right here, but not until after that tip from Tucker. Tucker, take it away.